Have you ever wondered what happens in the final moments of life? What does the brain experience as it shuts down? For centuries, this has been one of humanity's greatest mysteries. People who have been revived after clinical death often report extraordinary experiences. Seeing a bright light, traveling through a tunnel, meeting deceased loved ones, or having a profound sense of peace. These are known as near-death experiences, or NDEs. Are they simply hallucinations from a dying brain, or could they be a glimpse into something more? Today, we're diving deep into the science behind what happens to our minds at the edge of existence. Let's start with a story. Imagine a man named Al, who had a heart attack and was clinically dead for several minutes. He later described floating above his own body, watching the doctors work on him. He could recall specific details, the conversations, the equipment used, even the color of a nurse's scrubs. When he shared this, the medical team was stunned. Everything he said was accurate. Stories like Al's are surprisingly common, and they raise a fascinating question. How can someone perceive their surroundings when their brain is supposedly offline? Traditionally, science has explained NDEs as a byproduct of a brain in distress. When the brain is deprived of oxygen, a condition known as hypoxia, it can trigger a cascade of neurochemical events. This can lead to vivid hallucinations, feelings of euphoria, and a distorted sense of time and space. The light at the end of the tunnel phenomenon, for example, could be explained by the gradual shutdown of the visual cortex, starting from the periphery and narrowing to the center. The release of endorphins, our body's natural painkillers, could explain the overwhelming feelings of peace and well-being that many report. Another key player in this process is the temporal lobe, a region of the brain associated with memory and emotion. Electrical stimulation of this area in conscious patients has been known to produce out-of-body sensations and life reviews, where a person's entire life flashes before their eyes. So it's plausible that as the brain systems fail, erratic firing in the temporal lobe could create these complex and emotionally charged experiences. Some researchers also point to the role of neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, which, when released in unusual patterns during a crisis, could create altered states of consciousness similar to those induced by certain psychedelic substances. But here's where it gets really interesting. A groundbreaking study published in the journal PNAS examined the brain activity of rats after their hearts were stopped. Scientists expected to see brain activity fade out quickly. Instead, they discovered a massive surge of highly synchronized brainwaves right after cardiac arrest, a burst of activity even more coherent and powerful than during the normal waking state. The researchers called this a state of hyperconsciousness. If this happens in humans, it could be the neurological basis for the incredibly lucid and real feeling experiences that people describe. It suggests that the brain doesn't just fizzle out. It enters a unique final state of heightened activity. This brings us back to cases like Al's. How do we explain veridical perception, the ability to witness real events from an out-of-body perspective? This is a major challenge for the purely biological models. If the brain is not functioning, how can it process new sensory information? Skeptics argue that these memories might be constructed later, pieced together from snippets of conversation heard as consciousness fades in and out. Or perhaps the brain processes this information in the moments just before losing consciousness or just as it is being regained. However, for those who've had these experiences, they feel undeniably real, not like a dream or a jumbled memory. Let's consider the life review. Many people report seeing their entire life flash before them, not as a random collection of memories, but as a meaningful narrative. Neurologically, this could be the brain's memory centers firing uncontrollably. But from a psychological perspective, it could also represent a final attempt by the mind to make sense of its existence, to find meaning and resolution in the story of its life. It's a powerful, culminating moment of self-reflection. The feelings of love and interconnectedness that often accompany NDEs could be tied to the release of oxytocin, the love hormone, but they also lead to profound, long-lasting changes in a person's life. Survivors often become more altruistic, less materialistic, and lose their fear of death. Another fascinating aspect is the consistency of these experiences across different cultures and belief systems. While the specific interpretations might vary, a Christian might see Jesus, while a Hindu might see a deity from their tradition, the core elements remain remarkably similar. The out-of-body experience, the tunnel, the light, the feeling of peace, and encounters with beings of light. This cross-cultural consistency suggests that NDEs are not just random cultural fantasies, but are rooted in a fundamental aspect of human consciousness. It points to a common neurobiological process that all humans share when facing death. However, the debate is far from over. The consciousness's primary camp argues that these experiences are evidence that consciousness is not solely a product of the brain. They propose that the mind might be able to exist, at least for a short time, independent of the physical body. They point to the hyperlucidity and clear-headedness reported during NDEs, which seems contradictory to the idea of a failing, disorganized brain. They argue that if consciousness were just brain activity, then as the brain shuts down, consciousness should become more confused and fragmented, not more coherent and profound. So where does that leave us? On one hand, we have compelling neuroscientific explanations that can account for many, if not all, of the features of a near-death experience. The dying brain is a chaotic and complex environment, and it's entirely possible that it generates these phenomena as a final, spectacular swan song. On the other hand, we have the deeply personal, transformative accounts of millions of people, and the persistent puzzle of veridical perception, which science has yet to fully explain. Perhaps the truth lies somewhere in the middle. Maybe NDEs are a complex interplay between biology and something else we don't yet understand. What we do know is that the study of near-death experiences is pushing the boundaries of neuroscience and our understanding of consciousness. It forces us to ask big questions about who we are, what the mind is, and what happens when our time is up. The research continues. Scientists are using more advanced technology to monitor brain activity in real time during cardiac arrest. The AWARE study, for example, placed hidden images in hospital rooms, visible only from a vantage point near the ceiling, to test if patients having an out-of-body experience could identify them. While the results so far have been inconclusive, these innovative approaches show how seriously science is taking this phenomenon. Ultimately, whether near-death experiences are a window into an afterlife or the brain's final masterpiece, they offer a profound insight into the human condition. They remind us of the resilience of the human spirit and the deep-seated need for meaning, connection, and peace, especially in our final moments. They challenge our definitions of life and death, and they encourage us to live more fully, with less fear and more love. The mystery isn't solved, but the journey to understand it is one of the most fascinating quests in all of science. What do you think? Are near-death experiences a spiritual phenomenon or a biological one? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey into the mind, don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the mysteries of science.